So now we'll begin with E Ramanta Shabdas. So the first word is Hari. Hari Shabda. E Uramanto Hari Sangyaha. Any nama ending in E Rama or Urama is called Hari. So it's simple. Like Aramantaha Krishna Sangyaha. Any Aramanta Shabda is Krishna Shabda. So any E Ramanta or Uramanta Shabda is Hari Sangya. So Hari Yuktasu, Vishnu Bhakti Siddham, Vishnu Padam, Sararamir Vishnu Sarva Vishnu Padante, Hari. Then so Hari. Hari 1.1. Harita au purva savarnaha. When au is there after Hari Shabda, then au becomes the same varna as the previous one, which means the previous varna is Irama, so au will convert into Irama. So Hari Yukta I, Harita au purva savarna by this sutra, then the Shabtarik Atma Kemalitva Trivikrama Hari. So if you remember that sutra, Idu Detam Dvivachanasya Manivadi Varjam in Sandhi, do you?
Yes.
So this is the long E in Dvivachana example.
So you'll never see Sandhi of this.
Yeah, we never do Sandhi for these. Yes, except for those 4 examples we had there: Dampati, Eva, Rodasi, Eva, and so on.
The Manivadis.
Yeah, Manivadis, Mani, Eva, examples. Just us. Now there is one sutra. Idvayasya E, Udvayasya O, Ridvayasya Ar, Ridvayasya Al, Govinda Sangyaha. And this is important sutra. The replacement of Idvaya with A Rama, Udvaya with O Rama, Hridvaya with Ar, we cannot say Ar Rama, Ar, and Ridvaya with Al is known as Govinda. So Govinda is a Karya. Govinda is a Karya. So in other grammars, it is known as Guna. In Panini, it is known as Guna, and here we say it Govinda. So Idvayasya A, Udvayasya O, Ridvayasya Ar, Ridvayasya Al, Govinda Sangyaha. Its application, just now we'll do it. So like this. Mito Vrishne Sangyaha. In the Vishnu Bhaktis, where Nga Rama is getting deleted, or is it. So those Vishnu Bhaktis, they are known as Vrishni. Vrishni. Swadhis that have the indicatory letter Nga are called Vrishnis. This is Sangya Sutra again. Now, we are doing Hari Yukta Jas. Harer Govinda Jasi Vrishneshu Buddhecha. A Hari takes Govinda when Jas, the Vrishnis or Buddha follows. So now Hari if takes Govinda, what will happen? If Hari takes Govinda, then what will happen?
The U will become A.
Yeah. So the E Rama will change into A Rama. Idvasya A. So Hare Govinda Jasi Vrishneshu Buddhecha. Hare Yukta As. Then we apply AI. Then Vishnu Bhakti Siddham Vishnu Padam. Sararamir Vishnu Sarva Vishnu Sarva. Sararamir Vishnu Sarva Vishnu Sante. Hare Yaha. Then Hari Yukta Dashavtara Damshasor Aram Haraha Vishnu Bhakti Siddham Vishnu Padam. Hari Yukta Au. This is same as 1.2. Haritau Purva Savaranaha. Dashavtarika Atma Kevanitva Trivikramaha. Dashavtara Damsha Sora Rama Haraha. Yes. Dashavtarasya Trivikrama Shasi Tasmat Sona Pungsi. So I am hoping that you know the sutras and their applications. I'm doing the form. If you don't know or half or fully, then you can ask. Otherwise, I'll just move with the sutra which we have covered in Krishna word. Hari Yukta Ta. Now here comes a sutra. Haritashtana natu lakshmyam. After a Hari word, Ta is replaced by Na, but not in Lakshmi Linga. So except for Lakshmi Linga, everywhere after a Hari, Ta is replaced by Na. So Haritashtana natu lakshmi. I'm sorry?
So E and U ending in all the lingas, not just in Pullinga. Hari is called Hari.
Yes, yes. Majorly, see, like Aramanta, the long A, basically, whenever we see long Aramanta, generally it's Strilinga, Lakshmi Linga. But sometimes we have the words even in other lingas, like we did Vishwapa, and another example was Somapa, you know. So majorly they are divided, into different lingas. Like if we have ending word, so it's generally considered to be neuter gender. So there is a general classification, but still some words are there which may be in other lingas as well.
Okay. So when we are defining Krishna, Hari, all these indicate all the lingas, not just the Pullinga, right, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna.
Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, yes.
So when we say Krishna, Hari, it is in all lingas, not just in Pullinga.
No, no. See,
No, I understand that R ending, but I'm saying the terminology is indicating all the lingas, not just the Pullinga. It is not indicating just the Pullinga.
just wait a minute, please. Prabhu, just 1 minute. I think something wrong with my internet.
Sure.
Now, am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
So can you hear
So,
me?
what were you saying, Prabhu? Yeah.
Okay, so I was telling when we are having the sannyas, Krishna and Hari, all these sannyas indicate all the genders, not just the Pullinga gender.
I think we should consider them in the lingas which they are described in, like Aramanta Krishna Sangha, Uramanta Hari Sangha. So they should be considered Purushottam Linga. If there is any exception, then they will be introduced in their particular sections.
Because here in this sutra which you showed just now, it is mentioning not in Lakshmi Linga. So that means
Okay.
assuming that it is Purushottama, Lakshmi, Brahma, all the lingas, right?
See, it's not in Lakshmi Linga. It means that only Brahma Linga is one more thing, one more place where it can be found.
Right.
Okay. So some words are there which are like adjectives, and they can be used in all three genders. Like the word Parama, Parama. Now, Parama is an adjective. If it is used with a pulling shabda, then it becomes pulling. Because the Visheshana takes the form of the linga of the Visheshya. The adjective takes the form of a noun. So for those words, such things are mentioned.
Right, right. Okay.
Yeah. So there are adjectives, there are many words, especially the adjectives, which like Parama Bhakti, Paramaha Krishnaha, Paramam Phalam. Bhakti is striling, so Parama Bhakti. Krishna is pulling, so Paramaha Krishnaha, and Phalam is Brahmaling, so Paramam Phalam. So likewise for such words, such exceptions or such rules or such extensions of the rules are made. So we'll study that, we'll get to know that things.
So for example, there is the word mati, right?
Mati is pulling.
Striling, right? Mati, no?
I thought Mati was striling.
Okay. We have a different way of declension for such words. Because Mati, Haribol?
Yes, Prabhu.
Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
So Mati, there is that pratyaya, ti. But here it is, the formation is different. Basically, the pratyayas which we add to the verbs, they define whether a word is pulling, striling, or brahmaling.
Sorry, that's my laptop.
Yeah, I'm saying that it depends on which pratyayas are added to the verbs, which result in the final forms, and they describe they define the gender of that particular word. So when we'll study Kridanta pratyayas and on, so we'll be having pratyayas in different genders.
Right. So my question is about this Mati also a Hari Shabda here? Is it a Hari?
See, now we are covering Hari. When we move ahead, now next word will be covering Pati. Okay. So Jiva Goswami will show the varieties.
Oh, I see. Okay.
He will show, like in Krishna Shabda, there was a little variety in Rama Shabda, like the Natva. So he showed that. Now Jiva Goswami won't leave anything out, and we are doing the Brihat version. So let it unfold, I'll say.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, just that much. So Hari Yuktata, Haritashtana, Natu Lakshmya. So Hari Yuktana, then Hari Na, then Rasharidibhyo, Nasena Sareshwara Hayava Kavarga Pavarga, Dhanapi Saman Vishnupade, Natu Vishnupadadhyanta Sati Nam. No. What was the end part?
Samana Vishnupade. Yeah, Samana Vishnupade, Natu Vishnupadantasya.
So Harina. Then this is simple. We'll just Vishnu Bhakti Siddham Vishnupadam, Haribhyam, then Hari P, then the one is Hari Yuk May. So this is Vrishni May. So we apply Harir Govindo Jasi Vrishni Shubhuddhicha, because this is Vrishni, Ngitam Vrishni Sangha. So becomes Hari and A, then A-I, and Vishnu Bhakti Vishnu Haraye. Hari Haraye Namah Krishna, ityadi. 4.2 is Hari Vyam. 4.3 is Hari Phyaha. 5.1 is Hari Yukta Masi. Harir Govindo Jasi Vrishnu Shubhuddhicha again. Now there is one sutra here. Ayobhyam asya hara Vishnu padante. Ayobhyam nasing asura Rama hara. After A or O, the Rama of Nasi and Nas is deleted. Okay. Now we have Hare, which ends with A Rama. So the A Rama of Ngasi and Ngas, they will be related. Eobhyam, Ngasi, Ngasor, Rama, Hara. Hare. Then 5.2 is Haribhyam. 5.3 is Hari. Then 6.1 is also the same, like 5.1 Hare. Nasinga Sora Ramhara. Then 6.2 is Hari Yukt Os. So it's simple Idvemeva Yashar Sarveshware. And Vishnu Bhakti Siddham Sararamir Vishnu Sarga Vishnu Padante Hari Yoga. Hari Yukta Am Vamana Gopi Radhavya Nudami Tidagama Parasambandhi. Then Vamanasya Trivikrama Nami Nri Shabda se Tuva Nati Sri Chatasroho. That sutra. And then Vishnu Bhakti Siddham Vishnu Padam and Hari Ram. Rasha Nasena Sarveshwara Hayava Kavarga Pavarga Vidhanyapi Saman Vishnu Padin Natu Vishnu Vedantase. Hari Nam. Hari Nam. Am I right? Yeah, Hari Nam. So Hari Nam. Then so this Harinam is not the Harinam we say, Harinam Sankirtan. That is different. That is 6.1 usage. Harehe Nama iti Harinama. The compound of Harehe Nama. This is different. Of Lord Haris, of many Haris, like that. So Hari Yukta Me. Now we have one sutra, Haritang Erauch. Did we read Sansara?
Yes.
Okay. So Haritang Erauch, after a Hari, the Pratyaya Vishnu Bhakti Ni is replaced by Ouch. This, with Cha as an indicatory letter. So we do this. Ouch. Then Sansara se Harashchiti. Then Sansara is deleted when a Pratyaya which has the indicatory letter Cha follows. So this Sansara of the Prakriti is deleted. Okay. This is to be understood. When the indicatory letter Cha follows in a Pratyaya. So we have the indicatory letter Cha here. So what is the Sansara of Hari?
E.
So E will be deleted. Then we have this Vishnu Bhakti Siddham Vishnu Padam Harav. Harava Bhaktasya Kuto Mahadguna. So there it is Harav Abhaktasya. Then we apply Au Ab. So it becomes Harava Bhaktasya. You know? Then 7.2 is Hariyoho, again, like 6.2. 7.3 is Hari Yukta Sup. Then Vishnu Bhakti Siddham Vishnu Padam. Ishwar Hari Mitra Kange Bhe Pratyavrinti Sasya Shornam Vishnu Sarga Vidhanyapi Nahatu Vishnu Padadyanta Satinam. Was that right?
No. No Satinam. Satinam is the other sutra.
Is it? No, I think it's
No,
right.
no.
Huh?
This is,
That's
I think
right.
it will.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, that was correct.
Sorry.
That's very difficult.
both the two sutras, they are like, I always merge the end parts of both the sutras.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was also doing.
So
Satinam comes in Tattvam, right?
Yeah.
Big love Ram.
Sorry, that's my daughter's game.
no problem. Harishu. 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 Yeah, Harishu. Then 8.1 is Hari Yukta Su. So by the way, Lokram Prabhu, I saw that file, the when you're doing, it's really nice. One thing you can do is you can, the shlokas, the Sanskrit, you can put in bold typeface.
Sure, Prabhu.
Then,
No
then
problem.
there will be a difference.
Yep. Okay.
Hari Yukta Su, Sambodhane Sur Buddha Sangya, as we read. Harir Govindo Jasi Vrishneshu Buddhecha, when Buddha follows, then Hari takes Govinda. Hari Yukta Su. Then, did we read Eo Vamanebhyo Buddhasya Adarshana?
Yes.
So yeah, we read that last time. So Hari. Hey Hari. This is not Mahamantras Hari. That is different. Mahamantras Hari will be made in the next section. By the word Hara. This is different. This is then 8.2 is same as 1.2. Hari. Haritau Purva Savarnaha. Hey Hari. Or two Haris. And then this is Harayaha. Oh, so many Haris. Lot of Haris. Haris in bulk. So, like that. Hari Hari Harayaha Harim Hari Hari Harin Hare Harina Haribhyam Haribhi Haraye Haribhyam Haribhyaha Hare Haribhyam Haribhyaha Hare Hariyo Harinam Harau Hare Hariyo Harishu He Hare He Hari He Hareha. Any volunteer?
I try.
Wow. 1 minute, 1 minute. Yes, now please.
Hari Hari Harayaha. Harin Hari Hare Harayaha. Harina Haribdham Haribhihi. Haraye Haribdham Haribhyaha. Harehe Haribdham Haribhyaha. Harehe Haryoho Harinam. Harau Haryoho Harishu. He Hare He Hari He Hareyaha.
Would you like to?
Sure. Harihi Harihi Hari Harayaha Harim Hara Hari Harim Hari Harin Harina Haribhyam Haribhihi Haraye Haribhyam Haribhyaha Harehi Haribhyam Haribhyaha Harehi Haryoho Harinam Harau Haryoho Harishu He Hare He Hari He Harayaha.
Okay. Then the words Agni, Ravi, Kavi, Giri, and so on follow the same pattern as the word Hari. No, like all those Ira mantras, Purushottam Ling Shabdas. Okay, we'll do one more. 3. So the next Ira mantra Shabda with a different pattern is 3 in Purushottam Linga. So 3 will be covered in all the lingas. But now here for Purushottam Linga. So because 3 means 3 and 3 cannot be dual or singular. So the forms will be only the plural forms. Jas, Shas, Bhis, Bhyas, Bhyas, Am and Me. So no dual and no singular. So 3 Yukta Jas. So we apply Harir Govinda Rasi Vrishneshu Buddhecha A Sararamyor Trayaha. Then Tri Yuktashas, Dashavtara Damshasau, Dashavtarasya Trivikramashasi, Treen. Then Tribhi, Tribhyah, Tribhyah. Then one sutra comes here is Trestrayo Nami Swarthi. When we make Tri Yukta Nam in 6.3, Tri Yukta, first of all, it's Am in 6.3. So then Vamana Gopi Radha Vinodami Ityadi. Then we make three Nam. So Trestrayo Nami Swarthi. The word three is replaced by Traya when Nam follows, provided its own meaning is predominant. Swa Arthe. Swa means its own, Arthe means the meaning, in its own meaning. Now, the need for saying Swarthe is that sometimes, like when a compound is made, a samasa, so sometimes when a samasa is being made, so the numerals, they are used in a secondary sense, not in a primary sense. The example I think will be given here.
It's just there in the middle, I think. Rupriya Trinam.
Yeah, I'm just looking for the English one here. Yeah, so the Priya 3, is Pitambara Samasa, which means Priyah Trayaha Yesham, for whom three are dear. So in this one, whom is the subject? And the three are, this is secondary, like. But in this one, Parama 3, the best three is the subject. So in this case, the Swartha is done. The 3 is used in Swa Artha predominantly. But in this case, it's not using the predominant in the Swa Artha. It's Gauna Artha. The main Artha here is for whom. So this is the meaning Swa Artha and Aswa Artha or Para Artha.
Prabhu, so if I take Priya 3 as just not Bahuvrihi, but the regular, I think, Tatpurusha. If I take it like that, then it becomes different, is it? Just how you take it?
Means here they have taken, like the Amrita Tīkā, they have classified Priya 3 as Pitambara Samasa. Priyaha Trayaha Yesham, which means Anya Pada Pradhan, they say it as Anya Pada Pradhan. You know, one is Purva Pada and one is Parapada. And in Pitambara Samas, Pita Ambara Yasya Sa iti Pitambara. It Pitambara Samas, in Pitambara Samas, the word, the Samasa is not talking either of the Purva Pada, which is Pita, and not either of the Parapada, which is Ambara. It's totally speaking of the Anya Pada, which is the Lord, who wears Pitambara. You know, Purva Pada, Parapada, and Anya Pada. So similarly, Priya 3 doesn't speak of 3, which is the Parapada, which should be Swartha according to this sutra. It is talking of Anya Pada.
So
one, yes, please.
Here it is taken as Bahuvrihi or the Pitambara Samasha. Like let's say, suppose the word Pitambara itself, right? If I have to not indicate Krishna, who is wearing yellow dhoti, but I have to indicate the cloth itself, which in that case it becomes a Tatpurusha Samasa, right? I don't know.
Then it's Karmadharya, right? Because it's an adjective.
Yeah,
Yellow
Karmadharya,
cloth.
which is part of Tatpurusha, right?
So how would you do the Samasa Vigraha for Pitambara and Tatpurusha?
Pitaha Ambaraha.
Pitaha Ambara.
It's Pipitaha Ambara, right? Ambaraha. A yellow cloth.
Yellow cloth, Pitaha Ambaraha. So in this case, I would say Priyaha Trayaha. Priyaha Trayaha.
So then it would be Priya Trayanam, right? 3 dear ones. rather than. I think you're correct.
Like
That's,
Parama.
I don't know what Prabhu says, but that's.
So in that case, will the Sandhi change? Not Sandhi, the Vishnu Bhakti change?
Means if 3 is prominent, then of course the sutra will be applied. 3 Srinami Swartha.
I see. Okay.
The main thing is if it's Swartha, whatever the form is, because samasas are such things, anyone can break, according to his perception and assumptions. Like now you told Karavdharya, now someone may come in and will say, no, do it like Dvigu and this and that. So samasas are such. Samasas, actually the compounds, they give or allow speculation, a scope for speculation, a good scope for speculation, especially.
I was going to say we're getting a lot of juice from our acharyas because of these samasas in Bhagavatam.
Yeah. I was just 1 minute. Mahesh Vasa. Mahesh. There is one shloka in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, and I think it's somewhere around the 10th shloka. Just 1 minute.
Atra Shura Maheshwasa.
No. Just continue that shloka. Atra Shura
Oh
Maheshwasa.
man, it's been so long. Atra Shura Maheshwasa Bhimarjuna Samayudhi.
Tukano Viradascha, Rupadascha Maharata.
No, not that one. Chaparajita. Okay, Chaparajita. So there is one shloka just nearby. So one word come there, Chaparajita. Now the acharyas, I think Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he gives 2 meaning of that word, Chaparajita. The word is Chaparajita. Okay. Now one meaning he gives is Cha Aparajitah, which means and he is undefeated,
Yeah.
He's not defeated. Second meaning he gives is Chapa Rajitah. Now what does Chapa mean? A bow. And Rajita means is like decorated or ornamented, well equipped by something like that. Do you see? So it's one word. So when I read it first, I was really glad, wow. Cha aparajitah and chaparajita. Chapena rajita iti chaparajita. So like that. Saharte tritiya. This is Saharte tritiya.
Sometimes even in the commentary itself, they are using long compounds. So in your experience, Prabhu, is it difficult to understand those compounds? Challenging?
Means what I have seen personally is it really depends on the context. Like the running context, it really helps. Because even if you are a great scholar from a Sanskrit point of view, if you don't know the subject, the content, and the context which is going through, then it will really become very difficult, because many times the words, they are not used in a grammatical point of view. They are used, the words are used, the forms are used which we will be doing in grammar, but the meaning will be totally different, which they will be taking there. And those meanings will be according to the running context which will be there. So it really becomes difficult sometimes to observe the commentaries from a grammatical point of view or from even dictionary point of view. Sometimes we have to just transgress, all the grammar rules, the words, the meanings in the dictionary even, and we have to just pray. Now, Prabhu, what does it mean? Like, and yeah, sometimes it becomes difficult. Really. Like that. But I have seen personally that, like, for example, if you get stuck somewhere in some commentary, and then you just start, just continue contemplating on that point. Now, what does that thing mean? What does that particular word mean? I'm not getting the meaning. I'm not getting the meaning. And suddenly within some time, that meaning will dawn upon you. Now that sometime could be some hours, some minutes, or even few days. That's my experience many times. And when you get the meaning, you really become happy. Wow, means it's like a realization. It's like almost like Brahman realization. So yeah, very nice. Yeah. Just like Ujjwal Prabhu, he told Jiva Goswami's comment on that, that Bhuta, Mahabhut, Bhut, Indriya, and Devta Rupa, from Tattva Sandarbha. So I was really pleased, even though I didn't fully read it, or even if I read it, I didn't fully get it actually, because the English is too condensed and complicated there. But still, I'm somewhat happy that there is an explanation of that point which Śrīdharī Swami has raised, given by Jiva Goswami in Tattva Sandarbha. So just by knowing that, I'm happy. And when I read it, which I did, but I just understood a little bit. So like this, it unfolds gradually. So yeah, like that. So when it is Swa-Artha, so it becomes, three become Traya, Nam, and then we apply Dashatarasya Trivikramashasi. No.
Vamanasya.
Vamanasya Trivikramnami, Traya, Nam. And if I'm not wrong, then Rasha Ridebhyo Nasya Naha, Sarveshwara Hayava Kavarga Pavarga will also be applied. Because Yarama is Yarama, which is allowed as an intervention. So Trayanam. And then 7.3 is 3 Yukta Su becomes Ishvara Harimitra. Trishu Lokeshu Kinchana. Somewhere it is, Trishu Lokeshu Kinchana. I think in Gita. Trishu Lokeshu Kinchana. So like that. Okay, Prabhus. Ujjwal Prabhu, can you please explain that the thing which you quoted from Tattva Sandarbha?
I can try. Yeah, 1 second. Let me just pull it up. So I'll read it and then come from there.
Here it is. You can read it from here.
Since we cannot perceive one item in absence of one of the other items, subtle sense, deity, and gross form, he who is independent of these three is the Atma, but the shelter of the Atma is the Paramatma. So this is the verse quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam. One depends on the other. In order for each to function, they depend on each other. Without the object to be seen, so the adibhautika thing, the gross organ or body, the sense or adhyatmika, which observes it, cannot function. So the sense needs an object in order to be activated. So the way I understand this is the example of deep sleep. The senses are all completely deactivated, and we use this as pramanam for the existence of the Atma, because we still have the memory of not perceiving anything, because in the absence of sense objects, the senses don't work. So the senses are actually dependent on their objects. Without the sense...
Here, sense objects means, adibhautik means the earth, water, air, right?
Yes, and in general, things that are composed of those. So of the Pancha Mahabhutas, and senses, the adhyatmic things, which are the faculties by which we perceive those things, adhyatmic. So they cannot function.
So if there are no objects made up of the Pancha Mahabhutas, then there is no usage of the senses, or the senses cannot function.
Exactly. They don't have any way to function without something to perceive. So in other words, the potential is there, but their functioning doesn't happen because there's nothing to perceive. So basically they're dependent.
Basically the senses depend on the sense objects, right?
Yes, in order for them to actually reach the completion state of their function, they need something to be perceived. And then without the sense, the deity, Adidaiva, which should produce the action of the sense, cannot function. So again, the best way to think about this is in reference to purpose. So the Adidaivic, the Adidaiva, the deities, their whole potential is to give life to the senses so that those senses can function. So if there are no senses, then their potential of empowering the senses can't come to fruition. It can't happen. So they're dependent on there being senses to carry out their work of empowering those senses. Without the deity, the sense does not function. So the sense, which this one we understand easily, the sense is dependent on the deity for its function. Because if I'm looking and there's no sunlight, then I can't see, even if the object is there. So that one's easy. If any one of these is absent, we cannot perceive the other. He who knows, so all three of them have to be there for perception to take place. There has to be an object, the sense. Go ahead.
One question which I have, the deity which should produce the action, without the sense, the deity, this part. So now the deity, the demigods, which preside over our different senses. So they are like specifically they are doing that service, or they are the same demigods? Like they say, the Surya Devta is presiding over the eyes and so on. So how do we understand that? Means they are only doing this work because they have so much to do. Means,
Yeah. I wonder, and I've never seen a verse for this, but I think it just makes logical sense that they must have some capacity to do both, to be able to preside over it in a certain way and be giving that empowerment and not have to be looking at each individual person and empowering them and, turning it. With the sun, it's kind of passive anyway. He just kind of shines. And then whoever is in the sunlight, he gets that, he gets that capacity. But with some of the other senses, yeah, it's an interesting question. But I think because they're mostly dealing with enjoying in the heavenly planets and, doing their thing, it seems that this is a rather passive thing for them. They're not like a clerk, a paper pusher, or a programmer who has to sit at the keyboard all day. So it seems that they're more like managers of whatever is going on here than, workers.
or can we say like that? Means it may be an assumption that what is that? Okay. Like the deities, means the demigods who are presiding over our senses, they are just facilitating our karmas to be enacted, and they are just letting that happen systematically. Could we understand that?
I think that's also there, but I think this is talking in an even more general term of just allowing the potential of the action to happen.
Yeah.
In other words, the sun is just shining. It's not my particular karma that the sun is shining on me. I just happen to be in a place where the sun is shining. And so I may have some karma that put me in that place, but I don't think my karma is making the sun shine. It's on a more general kind of universal level than that. That's my speculation.
The 10th canto, Brahma's prayers. He says,
I was going to say this also. Yeah, go ahead.
He says that we are the sense devatas and we observe, we assist in the sense being perceiving. Even he extends that to even the Rajavasis also, which our acharyas give a different explanation.
Yeah,
Which
he's
verse
saying
is
there.
that? Can we just?
This is in the 10th canto.
14th chapter.
14th chapter, yeah.
I don't know the verse number, but yeah, he's saying how fortunate are we that we get to actually experience through because they have senses, and so we're getting to experience these things because we empower their senses to work.
So basically, they also experience. Yeah, they also get the experience, not just giving empowerment to others.
Yeah, that's a good point. But still, it must be somewhere in the middle, because it's not that they're only working on that. and they also have like Suryadev has his own, he has an entourage and people, and so there must be some way to compartmentalize it and experience both, because they have kingdoms and attendants and all these things. They're not just abstract forces, right?
I was thinking that, in subtle level, probably the space isn't a constraint at all.
Yeah, I think you're moving in the right direction.
What is that
there.
point?
So this is which verse is that? This is 14th chapter.
But basically the idea he was saying, Parama Sundara Prabhu, is that on higher levels of reality, even within the material sphere, that the constraints of reality are different. So space wouldn't be the same. There wouldn't be the same constraint for somebody in the realm of the demigods as there would for me. So therefore they can kind of have more of a pervasion and therefore experience and do things in a different way. Because we hear this, what, bu buvar swa, as you go up, it's more subtle. There are different levels of reality. And so different experience, their bodies are totally subtle.
The 33rd verse, 10, 14, 33.
So, yet even though the extent of the good fortune of these residents of Vrindavan is inconceivable, we, 11 presiding deities of the various sensing. Wow, first time I get to know this. 11 of the various senses, headed by Lord Shiva, are also most fortunate, because the senses of these devotees of Vrindavan are the cups through which we repeatedly drink the nectarian, intoxicating beverage of the honey of your lotus feet.
I also have Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary on that verse if you want to look at it.
Yeah, please. You want to share screen?
Yes, yeah, I'm just pulling it up now. 33, you said 11, 14, 33. Which one?
10, 14, 33.
Sorry, 10. Wow, not 11. My 10, 14, 33. Okay, let me just. Yet, even though the extent of the good fortune of these residents of Vrindavan is inconceivable, we 11 presiding deities of the various senses, headed by Lord Shiva, are also most fortunate, because the senses of these devotees of Vrindavan are the cups through which we repeatedly drink the nectarian intoxicating beverage of the honey of your lotus feet. The inhabitants of Vraj have also made us, the demigods, most fortunate. That is the intention of this verse. Brahma prayed, what to speak of the fortune of the Vrajvasis, we have also become fortunate. Who can describe it? The demigods like Shiva and I, Sarvadayo, who are the 11 deities in charge of the senses, have become most fortunate. Through the senses of the Vrajvasis, we have tasted the extremely intoxicating nectar, Madhvamritasavam, of the sweet sound of Krishna's ankle bells. In this way, Brahma expresses his determination to see, hear, touch, taste, smell, sing about, and massage the Lord. Besides the 10 senses, there is mind, intelligence, false ego, consciousness, and their presiding deities. Of these 14, the genital and anus are rejected as lowly. So he's saying that there are 13, but he's not counting those two. Vasudev, Krishna, is the presiding Lord of consciousness. Excluding these three leaves the 11 senses and their presiding deities. Therefore, Brahma prays, we, the 11 presiding deities of the senses, are experiencing Krishna's sweetness through the 11 senses of the inhabitants of Vraj. Something else should be considered here. The sun, moon, demigods, men, animals, and all the other entities of the spiritual world are Satchit Ananda, eternal, full of bliss and knowledge. The material sun, moon, and demigods are all expansions of the spirit. I was remembering this point when you brought this up, Vijay Prabhu. The material sun, moon, and demigods are all expansions of these spiritual prototypes. The demigods of the material realm are specifically empowered agents of the demigods of the spiritual world. The material senses cannot act independently. Only by the sanction and power of the demigods can the material senses experience material objects. But Sri Krishna's eternal associates independently experience the Lord's form and sound by their own spiritual senses without any influence of the mundane demigods. In his enthusiasm, however, Brahma identified his power to control material intelligence with the senses of the inhabitants of Vraj.
Easy.
Furthermore, the material senses enjoy the objects of the mundane world, but the presiding deities who facilitate this pleasure do not enjoy. However, without the presence of Brahma and the other presiding deities in the intelligence, mind, eyes, and nose, the senses of even those fixed in Krishna consciousness could not experience the sense objects of form or smell. This is the opinion of those who know the soul. So it seems here that he's saying that the deities don't actually enjoy the pleasure that they're facilitating.
Yeah,
However,
it's interesting.
with
It's a little bit opposite to what's mentioned in the verse itself, right?
yeah, and he's giving the reasoning for that. It's quite interesting. And but then he's also saying that that Lord Brahma is empowering all the sadhakas to be able to, and because we also hear this that Krishna is experienced in pure chitta. So chitta is a material thing, but Krishna is able to appear in the chitta, and spiritual things appear in the chitta for a sadhaka before he has his siddha deha. Because of their eagerness to taste the sweetness, Krishna, Brahma and others were able to experience bliss despite two faults. Though Brahma and the other presiding deities of the senses are mere instigators, karta, of the action of the senses, they took on the role of being enjoyers, bhokta. Although they are the demigods of the material senses, they took on the role of being demigods of the spiritual senses. These are the contrary actions seen in Krishna Prema. In Padyavali, it says that one reaches perfection by lying and criticizing. Factually, the senses of Krishna's eternal associates are spiritual like the Lord. So how could material demigods enter their spiritual senses? This was the question I was having when I first read this and when you just read it back. There is another meaning of the verse. Sometimes a devotee will praise his own fortune out of greediness to taste Krishna's sweetness. The good fortune of the inhabitants of Vraj is incomparable, but we 10 demigods are very fortunate, Dikpalas. Why? Then touching his finger to his senses, Brahma continued, Hey Krishna, with our senses we also experience your beauty and sweetness as you leave Vraj to herd the calves.
Okay, so this is the other explanation. Right?
Yeah, he's giving so much. It's such a beautiful commentary, his commentary on the whole Bhagavatam, but especially the 10th canto. Sri Vishwanath just gives so many juicy details.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really help us with our question about how they're all dependent on each other, but it's definitely interesting.
It was much complicated for me, at least, Vishnath's commentary. First
Yeah.
he says that they relish, then he says now how they can relish, then he... So it was like anti-arguments again and again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyhow, so are we done with that thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So we want to do Bhagavatam today. I'm really tired since few days. So much service here. I think for 10 more days. I'm sorry?
Still in Pune?
I didn't get it.
You are still in Pune?
I'm in Pandharpur, Maharashtra.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Vitthal, Lord Vithala.
How long is the camp there?
The campus?
Camp. Are you in a camp or you are staying there permanently?
No, I'm here for some service to my Guru Maharaj. He's here only.
Oh, I see.
So like that. So yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for continuing, even though you're busy, Prabhu. I'm sure all three of us really appreciate it. I certainly appreciate that you're doing this.
It's Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Please memorize the sutras. That will be great for me.
Yes, bro. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hello
Thank you.
there.
Hari.
Hare Krishna.